Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to discuss about record macro. In organizations, people who knows about VBA, they might be knowing about this term record macro. Even if they don't know how to use it, but they might heard this word record macro many times. So record macro, like we won't use, like people who knows VBA won't use this record macro frequently because record macro generates a code without any logic. Like we worked with loops, repeated actions. If we have any repetitive actions, what we are doing, we are placing that action in a loop and we are executing. But in record macro, it will not work with any loops. If we have to do it for 100 times, it will record for 100 times. So we don't have any logic in record macro. For that reason, people who knows about VBA, like who works on VBA, they won't work with record macro. But then what is the use of record macro? Suppose when you're writing a macro, if you don't know any command for any action, suppose we have all borders. We are using XL double every time. But we have different borders here, right? I want to apply all borders, but I don't know what command I should use to apply all borders. So at that time, what we do is we record a macro and we take that word, that term from record macro and we use it in our macros. So I'll just show you how to record a macro for all borders. In developer tab, here we have record macro option, or else at the bottom of your sheet from here also you can record a macro. So I click on record macro. It is asking for macros. Macro name, it can be anything. Let me give all borders. And where you want to store this macro, in this workbook means where we are working, or new workbook means it creates a new workbook and it stores macro in that, or else in personal macro workbook. This personal macro workbook is nothing but if you record, if you store any macro, not only a record macro, if your normal macro, if you are placing it in personal macro, it shows that macro in every workbook. Even if you open a new workbook, in that macro also, in that workbook also it shows this macro. I go with this workbook for now. Okay. Okay, we have a password protected, so I gave. Now recording got started. I select this range. You can use shortcut keys also while applying, while recording a macro. All borders. Now I stop recording. And it creates a new module for this. See, module 1. See, for borders, what we write, range of something dot borders dot line style equals to, we give border name. But for that, see, it gave these many lines. In real time, if we execute, it takes more processing time. For that reason, we won't go with record macro. So now what I do? Same thing. What line is important here? Line style equals to Excel continuous. We need only this term. Now I write my own macro. And here I go. Sub, I give all borders macro. And I write range of L1 to L10 dot borders dot line style equals to Excel continuous. I'll execute it. I got borders. If you are recording a macro, it is taking these many lines. But if we are writing, we are completing it in a single line. So it is recording for everything, for left side, top, bottom, right, everything separately. Like in a cell, it is applying border for everything. Like in this way, it is taking control 1. Here we have border. So all these things it is taking diagonally, horizontally, vertically, everything. That is the reason it is showing that lengthy macro. So use record macro if you're not getting any command. At that time, record a macro by doing that action manually in Excel. So that Excel will generate a code in record macro. And then you can use, you can take whatever commands you want from that recorded macro and place it in your original macro and execute it. Okay. This is about record macro. Thank you.